Yo, what is going on guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the history of Galactica / Air at Alton Towers Resort. Now if you do go on to enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe, like and comment, anything that makes me know you guys like my content. So without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, so anyone who is familiar with Alton Towers Resort will probably know that Galactica did used to be a little attraction called Air. Now there's not much difference between the two other than the fact that Galactica has VR and a space theme, and Air didn't really have a theme at all. Both very similar rides, obviously keeping the same track layout but just having a different sort of theme to them. Obviously today we're going to be taking a look at the backstory of these rides, so without further ado, let's do it. So, the first, early 2000s were probably one of the pinnacle parts of Alton Towers history. Obviously, they're just starting to manufacture their big rides. Nemesis has been done, and they really want this next big new attraction. So obviously, Nemesis being manufactured by B&M, Alton Towers, and I think it was owned by two stores then, naturally went to B&M to figure out what the next coaster was going to be. Now, this remained a secret to the public until it was revealed that this would be a new type of coaster called the Flying Coaster. Now, the Flying Coaster entailed you getting strapped into a new kind of seat design and then being put onto your belly, sort of so you're facing down at the ground, sort of like Superman's position when he's flying, and it takes you around the track. Now, some people were happy with this, some people obviously wanted a big thrill ride like Nemesis. Obviously, with it being in the same area as Nemesis, people were expecting some massive thrill ride with loops and stuff. That's not really what Air was about. Air was mainly to sort of about the feeling, you know, it's not about the thrill and stuff, it's more about the feeling that you can fly. Now, that's their big marketing standpoint. They were like, with Air you can fly, and I think that was one of their advert slogans actually. And it was a big hit. A lot of people loved it. Obviously, like I said, it was a new kind of attraction, not really focusing on the thrill side of it, but more focusing on the feeling and the sort of soft breeze you get when you go around. Obviously, it did have some really interesting ride elements, the bit where it turns you onto your back, which would normally be sort of like a barrel roll for a normal roller coaster, is more you just laying on your back and, you know, having the feeling of flying. And it was a really pinnacle part of Alton Towers. They're starting to get the gist of their world first themes here, obviously rolling out things like Oblivion later on and stuff like that. And now today with Wickerman, that's pretty much one of the biggest world firsts they've got there now, is Smiler. That was probably would never have stemmed if these rides were never created. So it had a nice big long lifetime. Obviously, if you look back at some of the pictures from Air and from Galactica, the track layout is exactly the same, like I said. But the paint job's a little bit lighter on Air than it is in Galactica. So fast forward a bit, up until about 2015, we found out that something was going on with Air. Now, obviously, Alton Towers not really wanting to keep it a secret, said that there'll be a brand new refurbishment for Galactica, their new attraction for 2016, I believe it was. And they said that this ride would entail having VR. Now, a lot of people were sort of freaking out, saying, is it going to work? Is it going to live up to what people think? Are we going to be able to ride the old Air without the VR headset? Everyone's minds were going crazy, including mine. Now, a lot of people, like I said, were on the bench. They were like, oh, they were getting a bit worried. They didn't know what was going to happen to the attraction. Then when it came out, it was fairly well received. Not a lot of people complained about it. It was just like refurb, really. You could still ride it the old way it was, with just a little bit more space theming. And it was overall still pretty much the same attraction, just with VR. Now, I did get to ride this with the VR before, obviously, this year when it got taken out. And I can solely say that it is okay. And that is basically just it. It is okay. It's not the most brilliant thing in the world. It's not pinnacle to Alton Towers' history. It's just okay. It was never really anything that was absolutely amazing to do with Galactica, and it hasn't really hurt the attraction that much by removing it this year. Obviously, thinking about what could happen in the future of this ride, obviously thinking about the fact now the VR's gone, are they going to keep the Galactica theme? They're going to retheme it again? I don't know. It's really unclear what they're going to do with this attraction. After Wickerman, I think they're going to calm down a bit, especially after the dungeons, and maybe skip the next year for an attraction or a new thing. Then maybe next year do something with it, possibly. If not, they'll probably keep it as it is. Like I said, it doesn't really hurt the attraction at all, having the space theme. Obviously, you still have the portals and stuff that's scattered around the track. It obviously has a really good soundtrack, obviously made by Score, and I'm completely happy for it to stay the way it is, to be honest. If they were to do another retheme, I probably wouldn't be too bothered with it. Obviously, like I said, it didn't really have a theme originally, so stepping out with a retheme for Galactica was a really interesting idea, and I do hold Alton Towers really responsible for creating a newer and better attraction. Maybe not received well with the VR. You know, everyone who's watched the channel previously know my thoughts on VR on attractions. I much prefer special effects and stuff to immerse you in it a bit more. But like I said, it wasn't bad VR. It was really, really good in its own way. And to be quite honest, I can see it, you know, possibly returning one day at the park again. Now, obviously, this had a really weird sort of life cycle. Obviously, Air was never really anything that was touched upon. Had a couple of refurbishments throughout its years, but honestly, Galactica was the biggest part of that. And also, it was the biggest part of the whole area, really. Obviously, if you didn't know, Air's shop, I did discuss this in my last video, Air's shop was a bit different now than it is back then. Now, back then, Air's shop was huge. It took up pretty much an entire building and was fairly big building. I'd say close to the mega store at Thorpe Park size building. So nowadays, if you walk down there and try and find the shop is still there, obviously, but on a much smaller scale, because from pretty much the release of Galactica, they completely transformed this shop and turned it into the roller coaster restaurant. Something I will be checking out this summer when I go to Alton Towers. And this basically obviously entailed that your food would come down on tracks in these little pots, and it's a really interesting experience by the looks of things, and I'll definitely make a video in there when the time comes to it. So that's the end of today's video, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. It is a bit of a short video, but I didn't really want to go too in depth with the history. I just wanted kind of more of a general history of it rather than boring you guys to death. But like I said, if you do want videos like this again and want to, you know, for different rides, definitely comment down below what type of rides you'd like to see with it. And without further ado, I will see you guys later.